Alright, so today I want us to do a quick tutorial on how to put quizzes into engrade, because then it grades them for you and life is a million times easier. So obviously you need to log in, and we're going to go over to apps and then quizzes. I've created a number of them. You want to create new quiz, and I've already started this over here. And then, well, actually, let's go back and start from the beginning. So go to create new quiz. You can set the time limit. So if you want this to just be a quick warm-up and you get your students into the habit of logging into engrade as soon as they come into class, they take a quick warm-up quiz and maybe then do a grade reflection. So these 3 and 5 minute ones. If you want to limit their time to any sort of time limit, you've got that. You can also randomize the question order. This helps kind of undermine some of the cheating that students might do, especially if there are multiple computers where kids are taking the quizzes. It's a lot easier to see a screen near you than to look down and see what somebody's writing for an answer. Anyways, I'm going to go with no time limit and name my quiz. No time limit, randomized question order. I'm going to come in and I'm going to add my first question. I like to attach a standard to the quiz questions I'm putting in so that when students do quiz corrections, they can see which standards they're struggling with, and I can start to work with them on that. I can also have them analyze which standards they're struggling with, and it's really empowering when students come to you and say, I'm struggling with this standard in this piece of literature, which one student did that the other day, and it's a student that I wouldn't usually think would be that articulate, and it was really, really cool moment for them because they were able to ask very specifically for help. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to look at my standards, figure out which one I want. Type in SI or RI or reading informational texts 4, and I'll type out my question. What is look at this guy's spelling of his name. Go here. One thing I do like is you can copy the quiz questions. The question length isn't something that is limited, so you can put as many characters into the question. You do want to be careful though, because anytime you're putting in quotation marks or apostrophes, it will change it to the code, so you need to go in and then check or change those and correct them. And I'm just gonna paste that in, and I'm not gonna really type in real answer options right now. I do want to show a quick couple of things. So if I leave A as the correct answer, you can choose the correct answer option. So we're gonna do A for this one. What you do want to do is make sure that you randomize, because even though the answer order can be randomized, students have figured out a way to use this to cheat with, and I can show you that in a second. So you do want to make sure that you randomize where your answers are yourself, not just let the computer do it. And you can make your point value whatever you want it to be. So let's add this question. Now I'm going to show a couple of things that are going on with some of the quizzes, what I was just talking about with the cheating. If you go to one of the quizzes, and let's go to one of my old ones where A was the correct answer. So A is the correct answer for all of these. engrade will automatically go through and randomize the question orders, but if I preview the quiz and I come over here, I can use what's going on with Java down at the bottom of the screen in the bottom right hand or bottom left hand corner where it says JavaScript equiz pick answer 000 void 0. If you watch that third digit, it changes around, and that third digit tells us where the answer was. So originally, brandish was A. So if we go back and we look at that question, the young man brandishes A. It's a problem because students have figured out that if the third digit is 0, then that is the correct answer. They don't understand why so much, but they do understand that if they choose 0, where that third digit, where it says pick answer 0, 0, 0, that third 0 tells them that that's the correct answer, or so they think. So there have been some issues with students being able to go through and just, oh, no, there it is. And that must be it, because that third 0. And you can go through and you can, without thinking, or even reading the questions, figure out all of the correct answers. It's scary. So, that would be why you want to personally randomize the questions, not let the computer do all of the randomizing for you. Another couple of things. You can go in and if you and another teacher are teaching the same course, you can add users to the quiz so that you can alternate who is creating the quizzes or make sure that both people are making a version. It's great for collaboration. Another quick thing that you can do is you can use this to assign to the classes, or you can go into the class. I prefer to go to the class to assign the quiz because when you assign the quiz, and to take you through that step again, I go to the class I want to go to. Over in the left-hand column it says quizzes. I choose that. If I assign the quiz over here, once it is assigned, I then have options of printing the quiz, and it will show all of the quiz questions. So let's go down here and go to a complete quiz. I can print, wrong quiz. I can print the whole quiz, and it will go through and it will randomize the question order for printing it. So if you have a day where you don't have enough computers for the kids in your class, you can print some. It also makes things easier if you're going to have some kids doing separate setting. You can allow them to take the hard copy with them. It also allows for easier write and test booklet options. And it makes it a little bit easier for you to close and unassign. If you open up the quiz, any student who has taken the quiz, you can pull open their grades, and let me show you this. So you can go in to quizzes, and let's go to Sensors 3. Find a quiz where kids haven't taken, or kids have taken it. So you can go in here and you can go to the student and pull up their score, and you can see what they answered and which questions they did not answer correctly. So let's go Silcoria. You can see what the student chose and what the correct answer was. This is really helpful, so if you go through and have the kids do quiz corrections, they'll be able to see which one they answered correctly and which one they didn't. You do have to print these individually, which is a little time consuming, but it is helpful for the students. And in the email where I send this out, I'll also send a link to the Google Doc that I use for when I have students do quiz corrections from engrade quizzes. So let's say we are done with the quiz. We can hit close quiz now, and you can hit save to gradebook. You put in the name of the quiz, point value, where you want it to come from, and submit. Now with these, this is a little different. You do then have to go into the assignment and allow students to see it. If you do not go through that option, students will not be able to see what score they had on the quizzes, which was an option or an issue, obviously, for some of the quizzes some of my students were taking this past week. They couldn't see what they had gotten, and so they were concerned about why their grade was what their grade was. They couldn't see how the quizzes were impacting their grades. Alright, I think that is about everything with these quizzes. There are some other cool options that you can have, or you can do. You can pull up flashcards, and when you create new flashcards, when you get done with them, you do have the option of turning the flashcard set into a quiz. I've never done that before, but I know, or I think Miss Teets has, so if you have questions about that, you could go to her. If you have any questions about how to use engrade to create quizzes and how to implement them in your class, please feel free to see me. The very last thing I want to say is make sure that your questions are all higher level thinking questions, because if you have anything that's just a remembering or a recalling or a quick practice question, students will be on their computers, and while we want to be able to trust our students and we want to believe that they're just going to take the quiz, or we want to believe that we're going to see anybody who's using something besides engrade, some kids slip through the cracks. Sometimes we can't see every single thing that's happening in our classroom. So you want to make sure that all of your questions are not questions that the student can look up the answer to, but questions that the student has to think about to come up with the correct answer. I think that is now everything. Good luck with using engrade to create your quizzes.